Hello, today I am telling you how to never ever ever pay rent or mortgage payment again. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we put up new videos. Hello, I am Tara, the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook where you can eat better, spend less. We have a new hardcover with full color pictures and over 1,200 recipes and tips to help you save money on your grocery bill. Check it out at livingonadime.com. Hi guys, so my first video on how I live on $300 a month. Wow. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Yes, it was 1990 to 1994 when I lived on $300 a month. And yes, now that does translate to $600 nowadays. Oh, the comments just gotta love them. I want to address some of the comments that I got on my $300 a month budget. And I'm gonna read you a few of them because they're just so special. All right. How are you going to live on $300 a month these days when rents and mortgages are over $700 plus utilities and vehicle issues? That's Andy. Andy got a lot of replies. My first reply was, you stop whining about it and figure it out. Okay, then to my reply, well, that's a legitimate question. Why are you being so rude? I get that it was 25 years ago when I did this. I also get that that still equals about $600 today in today's money. And I still know that it can be done because my mom has done it. And she did it with 2 kids. You've lost all credibility. Stop whining. The only reason you live like you do is because people are here watching your stuff. There is absolutely no way. Sorry, it can't be done. And then I said, you can if you want to. No way, rent alone is $1,500 a month. I agree, living on a budget is wise, but my utilities are more than $300 a month. We got over 70 complaints and whining people. Okay, not all of them. Some of them were like, well, I'm doing it right now, and I know it can be done. But that was only like 2% of the complaints. All the rest of them were people whining and complaining. Here's the thing, guys. You can do it nowadays, and you can still get by on $600 a month, even if it's the equivalent of right now. And I'm going to tell you, I've got a whole list right here. Look at that whole list. I'm going to give you this whole list of how you can have less rent or house payments if you really wanted to. Number 1, get a roommate or 2 or 3 or 4. When Mike first moved out from his parents' house, he lived with 4 guys and they rented a house, and each of their rent was like $250 a month. That's not that much. That's easily doable on $600 a month. Next, get yourself a tiny house or an RV or a van, something like that. If possible, instead of buying that car on car payments, get yourself an RV or a tiny house or something like that. My son is living in an RV. My daughter's getting ready to get one. It is a perfectly viable solution to high rent costs. My son was paying $1,500 a month in rent. It's $300 now. Easily doable on a $600 a month income. Work where you live. Get a job at a YMCA, a KOA. Get a job in a house for people with disabilities or a house with a children's home, orphanage type thing. Be a housekeeper at a motel. All of those places give you housing included with your job. We used to live in Estes Park, Colorado. A lot of the hotels and restaurants and that kind of thing had places for their workers to work while they were in town helping out for the tourist season. Live in a hostel or a group living type house situation. Our former apartment is now a hostel, so several kids are living in the same place where it was just one or two people before renting the place. Now several all go in together and rent it together. Kind of a roommate situation still, but a hostel, that type of thing, is another good option. Be a caregiver. There are guys and ladies who need help when they're older or if they're disabled or something like that. And a lot of them will offer room and board in exchange for help with the housework or cooking or running errands or caregiving, that kind of thing. Help a family member. Now, I don't think adult kids should be living with their parents, but if you're living with your parents and actually helping out and not just mooching off of them, it is a viable solution to help you cut down your living costs. Taking care of vacation homes. Do you have friends or family who have vacations homes that they only use every now and then that you could live in and caregive or get a reduced rent? You could be a nanny for a working family, and a lot of times they have room and board included. Exchange work for a place to live. Okay, that's kind of similar to the housekeeping and that type of thing, but sometimes people will have a house or an apartment or something, and you can work for their business, and as part of that, that's included in, and I'm not just talking about just tourist industry type things. Like, we have some friends that own a copy shop, and they have several offices in that copy shop. If one of those was an apartment, someone could work at the copy shop for them and help around there in exchange for living in the apartment upstairs, okay? I lived in an RV for several months that I rented from my grandparents, and that part of the story I haven't gotten to yet, but it was a viable option. They had an RV in their backyard. No one was living in it, so while I was transitioning to my next apartment, I was able to live in there for several months while I found another place, and I had cheap rent. So there are lots of viable options that people can do to cut their expenses. And yes, I bet you could live on $300 a month right now, especially if you did something like trading, work for a place to stay, that type of a situation. So here's the thing. You need to stop whining and figure it out. This is not rocket science. It's a matter of if you want to actually do it or not. The problem is most people just don't want to do the work to do it. I see person after person say all the time, well, you're not paying my rent. Oh, well, my rent is $2,000 a month. There's just no way. Yes, there are a lot of ways. It's just that you don't want to do it. So this is a get it together people moment. You're not going to go anywhere if you don't get your act together. And one of the things on getting your act together is getting your housing costs under control. The last tip, pay off your mortgage. When you are earning money, get that mortgage paid off like my mom did with 2 kids earning $1,000 a month. $500 went to paying off my dad's debt and our house, and $500 went to living expenses for us. She paid off $35,000 in 5 years. Yes, it's very possible. Yes, that's about $2,000 is what it amounts to now. Most people would not do that on $2,000 now. They wouldn't live on $1,000 and spend $1,000 getting all their debt paid off. You can do it. You just don't want to do it. You can either decide to get your act together and stop whining about your housing costs, or you can decide, how am I going to make this work? How am I going to get my mortgage paid off? How am I going to do this early so that when I'm retired, or if I become disabled, or if my husband leaves me, I'm able to have a house to live in that is debt-free? It is very, very possible. All right, that is my lecture for today. Now on to my deals and meals. Guys, this is what Living on a Dime to Grow Rich looks like. Mike's Special Anti-Canker Sore toothpaste is empty. Can't get any more out. But look at this. If you cut off the end, there is a whole bunch more in there. All right, Mike is filming. So how many weeks do you get out of the extra toothpaste that you scoop out of the bottom?
After it seems like it's empty, if I cut the end off, I can usually get 2 or 3 more weeks of toothpaste out of this. And this isn't a cheap toothpaste, so
No.
That's a huge amount of savings.
We buy this special toothpaste because Mike gets canker sores really bad, and this has stopped the canker sores. If anybody's interested, it's called Hello. It's an SLS-free toothpaste. But look at that. Now, what we normally do is we just put the toothpaste in, scoop a little bit out, and brush our teeth. I know it's not the most sanitary thing, but if Mike's the only one using it, it's not a big deal. Look at all that extra toothpaste. By getting 2 to 3 weeks out of each tube of toothpaste, that is an extra 2 to 3 months worth of toothpaste that he does not have to buy in a year. We take those pennies, guys, we save them up, and we pay cash for our cars because of these little savings that we always continue to do. Please visit us at livingonadime.com. We will see you guys next time.